Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back in the South once again for another season. And I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my good friend Preston Poulter, who does a book called House of the Golden Princess, which offers a fun, sexy romp through a fantasy RPG setting run by women. Issue 3 launches right now, actually, on Kickstarter. It's on Kickstarter right now. And right now, my friend Preston is offering for everybody who signs up for his email list at pocketjackcomics.com a free PDF copy of that book so you can actually try it before you buy it. So go check it out, everybody. But enough about that, because I have with me somebody who I have been trying to interview for at least 3 years now.
So
And
long it's been taking.
finally, she's decided to show up.
We
Finally.
finally did it. We
And
finally
it's
did it.
Scantily Kitty. So welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, I have been trying to interview you for 3 years, and obviously I love what you do on Instagram. I love how you look. I love everything that you're about. And so I am super excited to have you on. This is all about me getting to interview somebody who I thoroughly enjoy on Instagram and not really giving her an interview. No, I'm joking. Obviously, this is interviews about you, but I do want to. Why don't you tell everybody a little about who you are? Because a bunch of people don't know who you are. And I guarantee you a bunch of people in my audience probably do know who you are and have come across you and may or may not want to admit it. So who are you?
I'm Katrina, Scantily Kitten on Instagram, and I model. I've been doing it for a long time. I do my own content, and you can find me there. Aside from that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit because obviously you have 32,000 Instagram followers. And I don't think that just happened. So obviously, how did you get into modeling and how did you really get into this space? Because you're in a very unique space on Instagram. And how did that all come about? Because obviously nobody just gets 32,000 followers. I mean, I'm going to say something that's going to sound a little mean, but there's a bunch of cosplayers who obviously have that, but you're not a cosplayer. And I've seen your Instagram grow from having like 5,000 to going up to 10,000 to 32,000.
Have,
And
have
obviously,
you been following for that long?
I've been following from the beginning. Yes, I have.
Wow.
So obviously, how did you get into that space? Because it is a complicated space right now.
I've been doing it forever. So I started like almost right from the beginning, and yeah, I started taking pictures. I guess I'm in a niche market, like you said. Um, and yeah, I just started taking pictures. It seemed like there was people that liked it, and I just kept doing it. Like anything, if you keep practicing at it, you just get better and better at it. So
So let's actually talk about that because you've been doing this for a while. I mean, I don't know exactly how long. I think I started kind of following you 3-4 years ago, for the most part. And a lot of things have changed in modeling and in the industry and what people want. A little bit actually before COVID, I've been following you. So obviously, COVID changed everything, but what
mhm.
has that been like? Because I think the last 7 years in the Instagram space and the modeling space has been fascinating. And I've seen everything because obviously I'm pop culture and I'm exposed to a little bit of everything. And so, what has that been like? Because I felt in 2017, 2018, it was the norm. And then 2019, things started shifting a little bit. And then when COVID hit, all hell broke loose. So, I'm curious what that was like for you because I think modeling now is more gate kept and also more liberated.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, things like OnlyFans obviously popped up, which opened a lot of doors for a lot of people. I personally didn't go jump on board onto that. I don't have a page, but yeah, I know a lot of people that have made a lot of money off of it. That's for sure.
So let's actually talk about that. Why didn't you jump onto OnlyFans? Because I tried doing OnlyFans and I viewed OnlyFans a little bit differently than other people were. I didn't view it as a lewd site. I viewed it as a Patreon type site and a site
Hmm.
where you could create content and then distribute it to people who want to pay monthly, just I guess a monthly subscription model. Because the monthly subscription model to me is working. I pay for a bunch of monthly subscriptions, and so does everybody else. It's called Netflix, guys. It's called Peacock. Before anybody gets any bad intentions here, but
I just got booted off my Netflix because I was sharing somebody's, and they.
well, that's good for me as a stockholder, but that's not the point here. Um, but all jokes aside, why didn't you jump onto that? Because you would probably make a killing on it, to be honest. And I'm curious as to why you haven't decided to go that route and you've gone a bit of a different route. Because I don't think you have a Patreon. I don't think you have a loyal fans. I don't think you're in that space. And so I'm curious as to why you didn't want to go that route because I know plenty of people who have gone that route and they're still going that route and they're making bank.
Yeah. Well, that one's a little more complicated, I guess, but it has to do with more of the not many um, people in my normal life don't know me as Scantily Kitten, right? So um, I can't, I guess, risk it, if you will.
So let me ask this. I mean, do you have a 9 to 5 job where first thing, so I have a 9 to 5 job and then I do all this on the side. And technically my employer doesn't know, but it was on my resume, so they should know. But in my job's contract, this doesn't interfere with my job. If this interfered with my job, it would, and also I highly doubt my job's gonna be like, Andrew, you did an interview with a professional wrestler, and we didn't really like WWE. We're AW fans. I don't think it would go down that way. But I mean, I'm curious because it's very interesting why people choose to go there and why people don't. And when somebody has 32,000 Instagram followers, I mean, there's a lot of money that could be on the table.
Oh, I know, I get asked every day. No, it's okay. I'm just joking. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I guess what I said before. I don't have much of an answer. I haven't thought about it much. Um, but
No,
yeah,
because I think it's interesting when somebody doesn't do that and says, "I don't want to go that route," because I'll be honest, I'm very contrary to the norms. So I obviously do other things outside of this, and I'm very much a contrary investor. And I've made a lot of money and I've had a lot of profitable trades and investments because people thought I was crazy investing in certain things that turned out to have huge rates of return. And I've been rewarded for that. And I think there is something to be said about saying, hey, I don't want to do this, because content production is very complicated. You put up
mhm.
a lot of posts every week and obviously shooting those photos and even getting witty and doing some other stuff with that. It is a very complicated thing to do. And that's what I think is just so interesting is that I kind of think it's fascinating. It almost in a lot of ways makes you more in demand, I feel. The fact that you're not on OnlyFans, you're not on Loyal Fans, you don't have a clips for sale store. Is now if you ever do go that way, I mean the gate is just gonna open up. It's gonna be a massive floodgate.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I ever will, but if I do, yeah, I think it might be profitable.
Yeah, no, I just think this is interesting. And then obviously even going further though outside of this, obviously you do a lot of stuff with modeling, you do a lot of Instagram stuff. And so what is that like? Because even tabling the OnlyFans stuff, I mean, obviously I've watched your Instagram account grow massively. And I've, as I stated, kind of around 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, and then all of a sudden it jumped up to 32,000. And there was other places that you were posting as well. And what has that been like? Because you've gone from being a little kitten, I think, to being a full line cat in a lot of ways. And I've been waiting to use that joke. I'm sorry. But what has that been like? Because obviously you've grown a base, and it's so interesting when somebody has grown a base. And I feel like your base is very organic. And what has that journey been like for you? Because I kind of have seen it in real time, and it's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it started on Instagram. Then I would I got probably up to like, yeah, like 5 or 10 thousand, and I started posting on Reddit, and that helped a lot. And then I started posting on I would have other like pages that were reaching out to post my pictures. So we were doing that for a little bit, and yeah, it just started growing and growing.
Yeah, let's actually talk about that because I think Reddit is a very lost social media platform. And I think it can be very, very interesting because I really have never touched Reddit. Um, I have a whole different discussion about Reddit. It's very political. I think the U.S. government really screwed the guy who created Reddit over. I think they did. But we don't have to talk about it. As a libertarian, I'm required to say that. But my whole thing is that Reddit has subgroups, and anybody who's interested in a particular style, genre, thing, there's a subgroup for Reddit, and it's a very fascinating social media platform because if somebody likes, I'll just use an example. Somebody likes collecting teacups. There's a Reddit subgroup for that, and they go ape shit for it. And so, what was that like? Because that I felt was kind of your secret sauce in certain ways for what you
Yeah,
model, what you do, and even just building an audience because you naturally converted people to who you are on other platforms. And that's what's interesting. And I don't even know if you were realizing what you were doing, but it's really, really, I think, important to recognize when somebody does something right.
thank you. I Yeah, I guess I not to get too like in the weeds about it, I guess, but I I guess I along the way I found out that it turns out there's a lot of people that like that I'm a man under all of this, and they enjoyed that part of it, and finding that niche of people um, definitely helped for sure.
Yeah, see, that's what's so interesting. I mean, I wasn't gonna bring it up. I was gonna bring that up, but obviously, since you did, it is a
It is what
niche.
it is.
It is a niche, and I wasn't gonna bring it up. I just want to make that crystal clear here. I figured you were eventually gonna bring it up. Um, that's why I referred to you as a she first, because I thought it would come out eventually. But anyway, see that's what's interesting is that I think that we are in such a hyper political view where I think what you do is brilliant in art. I really do. I think it is so artistic. I think it is brilliant. I think I'm very libertarian on whatever you want to do. You can do. I personally don't care as long as you're causing me not harm, right? So, but like that's what's so interesting is that you are really capturing that niche and a bunch of people who like this, and you're providing content for that. And that's what I think is capitalism by nature. And so, as a libertarian, as a capitalist, I think what you're doing is brilliant, and you're filling that niche. And I want you to make millions and millions of dollars off of this. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, obviously. But in order to do that, I would have to commit fully to it. And I don't know if I can with the way that my life is, I guess. That makes sense.
No. I understand. I mean, I think what you're doing is that you have captured what people want, and a lot of people want it for a lot of different reasons, and they just enjoy your content. And I find that if you enjoy something in life, you should go seek it. I thoroughly enjoy collecting baseball cards, for instance. And so I
And
enjoy
comic books too, right?
what?
You and comic books too, right?
Yeah. I'm a big comic book collector. I'm a big comic book
Because
seller.
I love comic books too. I'm a big fan of all that.
I love it. I've built a business and a very successful business off of this, and I spend a lot of money a year. I just went through a big expansion in my eBay business, in which I saw a lot of baseball cards and sports cards, and I saw a lot of comic books, and I actually got out of Pop Funkos because they're the worst thing to sell. Those fans are the absolute worst to deal with. Hands down, they're so picky, so picky. Oh, I can't take it. But it's just comic book fans are easier to deal with. Baseball cards are easier to deal with, and they're also more grateful. That's the other thing too. But this is what's so interesting is that I think what you're doing is killing it, and even then to go talk about the Instagram stuff. I mean, obviously you're touching that niche on Instagram, and so what is that like too? Because if you have 5,000 fans or followers on Instagram, that's one thing. If you have 10,000, it's another. But now you have 30,000, 32,000, 30,000, 32,500. Soon enough, it's going to be 33,000. And what is that like? Because now you are reaching a wider audience. And now you actually have influence to some degree. And I know that you have some influencer deals, and I know you've had some paid sponsorship stuff going on. So what has that been like? Because that's a whole different trajectory when you're at 5,000 followers to 30,000.
Yeah, a lot more messaging, everyone. Um,
Hey, you still answer mine, so I'm happy about that.
like sometimes things get lost. I'm sorry if I don't. I apologize. Um, but I've done a couple deals. I have made a little bit of money off that. And yeah, it's mostly just products though. Um, yeah, it's just more time spent.
So let's actually talk about that because this is what's cool is that I don't know if your influencer deals are product exchange deals, money, or even just the idea that you even get approached to do a deal because I've been approached to do stuff. I've obviously have sponsors on my show and I don't have nearly as much clout as you do on Instagram. But apparently people either like me or they realize that I reach a wide audience or I reach the right audience where I've returned a decent amount of money to a comic book printer that I was dealing with. People like your viewership doesn't match what you're saying. And I'm like, but you don't understand that I reached the right audience. Everybody needs printing, and I just so happened to have a printer as a deal, and they made a lot. They didn't make a lot of money, but they made their money back and then some. But anyway, the point is that what is that like? Just even on just not so much the money, but that people are interested in you and that they want to pay you for your time. Because it's a weird thing when it happens, because it's happened to me. And I can tell you on my level, it made me feel really good. When someone's like, hey, would you want to read this live ad for $10 for me? And I'm like, yeah, you want to pay me to do it? Like, it's a weird
It
thing,
feels
right?
it feels good. Yeah, it does. It's fun. If it's the right people, and usually it's ones that I use. Um, it's good to be able to help and give back and feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah, no, because I mean, for me, and I agree, where I don't necessarily use necessarily printing at the moment for comic books, but I know a lot of people need that product, and I know that they're getting a 5-10% discount. All of a sudden, I know that they're saving some money, and it's very cool for me. And then also, I say, cool, I just got $500. I get to continue my show for another year, and a lot of alleviation is taken off my position. And so it is very, very rewarding when all of a sudden a lot of alleviation and stress and saying, cool, I can actually do something with this, or you made 200, $300. You're like, cool, I can now go kind of treat myself to something. I mean, I don't know if you view it that way, but that's how I view it, where I can have, cool, I have $50. That means that it's going to cost me $190 to run my show. Now I need to raise
Yeah,
$190 instead. And great, the goalpost just got a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm sorry. I have to get going in a second here. I don't mean to interrupt like or stop you or anything like that,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
that okay?
We can
I'm
stop.
sorry. Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely. Any time with you is fun. But I do want to give you a chance to self promote yourself. So obviously, where can people bother you, find you, hit you up, follow you on Instagram, all that stuff?
yeah, Instagram. You can find me everywhere at Scantily Kitten. Um, and just type that in anywhere, and I'll pop up.
Awesome. And then I'm just going to quickly promote myself. Obviously, I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that fun stuff. And you can bother me there. You can check me out. You can see what I'm doing and all that fun stuff. And yeah, so that's everything that I got. Obviously, it's a short interview, guys. I'm sure you and me are going to have a much larger interview at some point, talking about a lot of fun stuff. But
Absolutely.
I do want to give you at least the chance to have the final word. So
This has been great. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
me too, everybody. And that, I believe, is a wrap.